Hey guys, this is DFD, aka Dark Frozen Deaths, back with another Kamihime project video. Now, this one, I'm going to cover the event in this as well, but there's some stuff I want to cover before I even get to that, because there's a lot of things that's changed on here, so this is also doubling as an update video on top of an event video, so that's something to know. And of course, I gotta do this like every video now, but this is on a global version, so Japanese side already had a lot of this stuff. This event's already passed. In fact, they might even have this event in its Epic Quest, since it's like a year later for them. But starting off with some of the new stuff. First and foremost, I have to mention this. This is big. This is important. We now have these things in the shop, and you also can get them dropped from raids. What I'm talking about is the Amulet Accessories. You can trade for these. In fact, I've already done a good number of trades already, and this is with just casual grinding. But what these are, they go on a 4th accessory slot, and as you can see, the base stats are incredibly high for these. These are just like the malicious ones that you get for 5th slot. So you're going to want one of these, one of the malicious ones, and a 3-set effect on every Kamihime. That's the most optimal way to do it now. Most likely you're going to have 3 TRs to go with the amulet and the timepiece. But there's also some specific cases where other things might work, like bracelet will definitely work if you have high combo rate, either from the whole team or the character themselves. Brooch set is also good for the tank ones that can actually like cover for other characters, like for instance Shamash. Like I know she's another one that can use Brooch, like all versions of her basically. But generally speaking, you want to get one of these amulets because of 2 things. First and foremost, again, base stats are pretty high. This gives you the most HP out of any accessory, even more than the timepieces. So there you go. And it's still not no slouch on the attack power either. This attack power is still higher than every other accessory except for a timepiece. A timepiece has the best attack, but an amulet has the best HP out of all accessories. Even later on when they actually add another accessory, which I'll do in a future look video. But the other reason why you want this is because it's more focused on defense. Like, you basically get 2 effects where you get damage cut based on certain situations, and then you get a 3rd effect that will give you something random, like say more attack, which is assault, or you'll get double attack, or you'll get more healing, stuff like that. The 3rd effect will increase when you level it up. If I remember correctly, it jumps from like 6 to 8% for most cases, but the triple attack would go up to like maybe 3% at most. But it's a pretty sizable boost just on those. The damage cuts will always roll as a 3, a 4, or a 6%, and they never change, no matter how much you upgrade the accessory, so you'll have to go get another one if that's the case. But basically, and I can even show this on one of my characters because I have it on her, and I've leveled it up. But basically, when you put this accessory on, and you go into your accessory effects, you'll have to check them this way. You'll see these things pop up right here where it says damage reduction. Now, the first one, if she has 75% or more HP, then she gets a damage reduction of 6%. That's what that's saying. The other one, if she's in the front, damage reduction of 3%. What that means is that in the party's positions, the upper 2 slots right here for your characters are the front, where it says F. If it's got a diamond that has R, that's the rear. You have to be in one of these 2 positions to say F for the front effect. So if I put her in front and then also have her HP at 75% or more of her maximum, then that would give her a total of 9% damage cut. That's how those things work. It will either be front or back for one effect, and it will either be higher than 75% or lower than 50%. So there's a pride or vigor based cut, and then there's also a position based cut. So that's what you need to know. When it comes to the shop trades, this is a big one. My suggestion, do not trade past the 50 trades, if you're even going to do that. I suggest you don't even go past the 25s. Get your 5 monthly trades off of that and then just hope they all fall from raids. But if you're really impatient, maybe go through this next 10 after it, where you trade 50 apiece. After that, you can do 75 of these Guardian Plus materials per trade. It's definitely not worth it. It's a scam at that point because you're paying triple. Because basically you would get 5 for 25, but then you're only getting 1 for 75. So you get 2 75s, you already pay way more than what the 25 would be. So again, first batch, worth it. So first 5 trades, definitely get those. The next 10 after that, maybe. But I suggest you don't. And the last 10 is a definite no. And they're monthly, so they will reset every single month. Like for instance, I got 25 right here. Trade for it. There you go. There's a 50 right here. That's a maybe. Me, I'm not doing it. But now you got another reason to go grind Guardian Plus, because these accessories are very, very good. And then of course, like I don't have too many malicious stuff because I haven't been grinding too much on the Nutaku account. But these other accessories you're going to want as well. Just hope they drop because they're very hard to get your hands on. But the timepieces will be in 5th slot. The amulets will be in 4th. Then get your 3 set piece for off of all that. So there you go. Another thing I'm going to mention too, and this is also another big one. We have another miracle ticket. So there's that. My suggestion: try to get some of the ones that are further in the page, like this is page 1, page 2, page 3. A lot of the better Kamihime are pushed up front. I'm not going to go over each one and who's best and whatnot, but there are some very good ones that a lot of people tend to get, like Foibe, like Dark Set, Nephthys, Luna right here. Hypnosis sometimes valued as well. Her weapon is very good actually. And then personally I like the fire version of Neptune. There's quite a few good characters on all this. Buer was another one, because she's pretty useful with her abilities and all that too for the potion making and all that. Hermes has a very strong weapon as well. I'm just mentioning things off the top of my head. So very good stuff. They even added a filter system, so say you want to focus on your Thunder team. Ssr Thunder filter, there you go. They finally added that. I don't know why it hasn't been in the game for who knows how long, but there you go. Don't trade for any SR characters. The Eidolons, arguably you could want a few of these. Like I know the Divine Beasts, like it would be a little bit tempting to get, like say Bayako, but don't do it. The 100% Eidolons are in here too. My suggestion: don't do it, because thinking long term, they're not worth it. They're good for a short burst out the gate, but they're not good long term. This also right here where it says Ssr Drop Rate times 5. What this means is if you're willing to spend for this 15% Ssr rate, not 3, 15%. This is the best rate boost that isn't guaranteed, in my opinion. These gotchas like this, where they give you like 9%, 15%. There should be an 18% one later down the line. So there you go. My suggestion: you go through this and get them, because the boosted Ssr rate is very, very good. Like, the boosted Ssr rate is extremely good. Like, everybody in this pool has a boosted rate now. And it's all the permanent ones. Along with these two, who are limited right now. So, you got a better chance of pulling them too. Because everybody's Ssr rate is like 5 times. So, you got a much better rate of getting an Ssr to appear. My suggestion is to get that. So, there you go. Other interesting things to mention too, they changed how you enhance with the spears. It makes it a little bit more helpful. Your BP is now based on your rank cap, so it will finish off at 20 whenever you hit rank 200. That's the highest you'll get. Personally, you don't have to try to rush yourself to rank 200, because rank 140 is when everything's unlocked. Speaking of, you now have to be rank 140 to do heroic, so rank 100 is not enough anymore. Then on top of that too, when you set your Union Guardians, the one that was set was the one that was supposed to take precedence, meaning like if you put it to the fire one, then the Union gets a fire boost. There's no water, no thunder, no wind boost. Now it doesn't matter. Set it to whatever all 6, well, I would like to say all 6, but they never did that. All 4 Union Guardians. Full effect all the time. You don't have to switch at all. So that's something to know. And then there's some other stuff that they rebalanced and redid and whatnot too. So there's a few things. They fixed some bugs, but honestly, from what I've seen, they made a few more. Typical Nutaku. But it's nothing too game breaking. You can awaken Jupiter now. I know she's a very good one to awaken as well. So go ahead and do that one because she's very good for burst gauges. She's got some good utility. Definitely worth it in my opinion. Sorry for all that, but now we're getting on to the actual meat of the video, which is the event. It is a raid event. Interestingly enough, there's a few things I have to point out. First off, this is a water event, but we're getting a fire Eidolon. I don't know why. Second, the Eidolon, we're not even fighting the Eidolon. What you fight in the event is actually a male boss for the first time, I do believe. So that's something else to know. And then third thing is, as well, is the fact that this is also one of those times where the limited characters in the gacha, they don't cater to both of them. So if you're going for the heroic fight, you need to be Thunder. So that's something I'll say in advance. We'll go over that a little bit further down. And I don't know what it is, but they never seem to give Caspiel an SSR version, which is a shame. Me personally, I like her. And every single time they brought out a version of her, she's always had something stackable in her kit. So it's like a stackable debuff or something like that. It's always been pretty useful. We'll go over what she has, though, for this one. But this is the first time she's been SR, I do believe. Because our other 3 versions were R rarity, if I remember correctly. But, typical stuff for a raid event. Go through the story quests, and then you'll eventually unlock the ability to host the raids. My suggestion is to do so, because that's the best way to get your materials and whatnot, too. And again, you now have to be rank 140 to do a heroic. They even upped the combat power recommendation to 85,000. It used to be 75,000. Ignore that. If you have the right team, it don't matter how strong you are, as long as you can still get the job done. And there's a very specific way to do that. It's always the same case for heroic. So you can have, say, 150,000 recommended strength and still fail if you don't set your team up properly. Recommended strength really doesn't give you a good idea of what to do at that point. But getting into the fight itself, this boss loves to do a specific debuff that prevents combo rate. Be careful of that, especially in heroic, because when you have less combo rate on one of your characters, that makes them unable to do quite a lot, to be quite honest. Their burst gauge fill rate will slow down, and then on top of that too, if you have any drains, your drain is effectively reduced to just 1 hit. Drains are at their most powerful when you get 3 hits. Some characters have passes that are based off of how many hits you do with either that character or the team that can get affected. This has a lot more effect than what you would like to believe, so keep this debuff off of you if you can. But other than that, it's going to pretty much just nuke you, try to reduce your defense. It will normal attack quite a lot itself as well, so that's something to know. But that's the general strategy for basically all 3 fights for the event, for Expert, Ragnarok, and Ragnarok Plus. HP values are more or less the same. Like, they always hover around 7 million for Expert, always around 15 million for Ragnarok, and Ragnarok Plus always hovers around 72 million, so there you go. But, getting into the heroic, Mussoline's back. I don't know why, but, how you fight her for stage 1, you have to consistently deal 5 million damage each turn. That will cause a trigger, that will slow down her orb gain rate, because if she ever happens to have full orbs and lets that off, you will die. That is a failure trigger that will pretty much just give you the 100,000 damage to the whole team. You can't reduce it, you can't defend against it, you can't protect, you can't nullify it, none of that. That's the failure trigger, as I like to call it. If her orb count hits 5, that's it. I don't know if you can erase orbs yourself, but you could also try that. You do absolutely want to deal 5 million damage a turn. For that, you really do want to have your combo rate up, normal attacks being pretty well boosted, burst whenever you can. And then on top of that too, abilities can also help make or break you on that one as well, because ability damage does add up for that. So try to spread out your ability use if need be. Thunder does have some good hard hitters for practically across the board, so you've got a lot to work with if you set your things up and then got your typical upgrades for your weapons and all that at that point. Now, the more interesting thing is the fact that stage 2. Now, the boss does have a trigger where it will put something on one of your characters that you cannot erase, which is also that little combo thing I mentioned before. So one character is just literally incapable of acting. Like, one character cannot do crap. If you don't want this to go on the wrong character, I think you might need a cover. So keep that in mind. And the thing is, if you happen to get slapped on Paracelsus or the Thunder version of Soul, even they can't avoid this. Thankfully, it's only for 5 turns. But after that 5 turns, it's going to hit somebody else. Or maybe even the same character again. It's random. So that's one of the biggest things with the second stage. You will always have one character unable to move basically every 5 turns. It will switch between them, hopefully, but it can still slap the same one. Now, on top of that too, you have to try and kill this boss before it stacks too many of this special buff on itself. Because if it gets too many charges of that buff, you're going to hit a failure trigger for that one as well. It will do the 100,000 damage and kill you. But how to reduce that? When 10 normal attack hits in a single turn. And it's going to remove an orb. It says while an orb is attached though, so it shouldn't work at 0 orbs. But when 10 normal attack hits in a single turn. That's why they mention Paracelsus, because she's very good for normal attacks. Use her. If you don't have her, Caspar can help because she's got a very long combo rate buff. And the next best thing after that I can say is Yorimitsu, because she's also got a combo rate buff as well. But you definitely want to get your combo rate going for this fight, because that's the main gimmick for that one. And then characters that can instantly do normal attacks like Jahudi, very good for this as well. So there you go for that. But basically that's a gimmick with the raid event. Like, it loves disrupting your attacks and all sorts of stuff like that. It will also try to defense down you in the normal stuff. I don't think it defense downs you in the heroic, but it probably doesn't need to. The main thing is just trying to get a lot of damage out, and since you need Paracelsus anyway, you might as well try to do it through normal attacks. Well, I wouldn't say you need her, but she's going to be good for it. But Caspar is also pretty good because of Stinger buff, and that will up your damage output as well. So Caspar is a good second alternative. If you have Awaken Mammon, I would suggest using Caspar over Paracelsus anyways. But again, try to get 5 million damage per turn in the first fight, and try to get 10 normal attack hits a turn for the second fight. You do that, you're pretty much set. Well, you do that, you're pretty much good to go. But usual stuff for the rewards and all that too. Try to get your 300. My suggestion, my personal suggestion, because you can farm for extra stuff, the Eidolon orbs can also be very, very helpful on this too if you pull duplicates. So remember that. It will help you out with the Eidolon orb shop, because I know it can be kind of like troublesome to get to the 25,000 trades, even the 10,000 ones, grinding these events like that can help you out with that, like over grinding them. So you'll probably go way past the 300. I've seen people that had like thousands, but again, all the extra stuff you can pull from that. So keep that in mind. Like you may get more jewels. You definitely should be getting more Eidolon ores. If you don't get an extra copy of SSR by then, yeah. But you can get more of those, more EXP spears, because those start to go down pretty quickly now. A lot of good stuff. So my suggestion, try to overgrind this if you can. If not, stop at your 300 for the guaranteed SSR pools, because remember the 1/10 tickets will start adding up for all that. And then if you still can't go that far, then at least get your 50 blue and your 55 red, so you get the basic stuff. Because this Eidolon is actually pretty good too, so that's something to know. Speaking of her, what she does, when attribute attack down when she's summoned. This is pretty good for some of the raids, because it is Eidolon frame and it really helps out for that. So you may actually put her in a sub slot to summon for some of the raids, especially the wind malicious. You want to lower that attack power as much as possible in there. That thing hits hard, so she can help you out with that. Another thing, main slot, if you put her in there, 40% elemental attack, but everybody's burst gauge increases by 20%. These are pretty good. If you don't have like better for the elemental attack and all that, this will help you out greatly. So that's something to know. I don't need to say too much about the SSR weapon, because it's the usual stuff at this point. One thing's large and the other final breaks in the medium. This happens to be large assault and medium defender, so I don't have to say too much about this anymore. It's the usual stuff with all the events, so you'll find a weapon that does large medium combo and can final break. So there you go. And just if you want to do something a little bit awkward, you can try to get the SR weapon for upping your burst performance early on, but I wouldn't really recommend it too much unless you have like a lot of burst characters for dark. So until you can get like a better exceed, there you go for dark element. But that's only if you're really early on. Otherwise, ignore it. And then when I mean really early on, I mean like before you even get into ultimate raids. So that early. Otherwise, I wouldn't worry about it too much, because your burst damage is definitely going to be your biggest damage for a while. So there you go. But also, when it comes to the event missions, clear with win characters, and you also have to soul it. So that's what you gotta do for Ragnarok. I don't have to say the same stuff for the other ones. You should know it by now. If you're new, it's even in game, but expert always is rarity based, so just equip all R Kamihime even in your sub slots, and do whatever you can for Ragnarok Plus. So that just soul all 3 of those, and you get the extra raid tickets. And again, like I said, over grinding for this event recommended, because more stuff generally. But the other thing I needed to cover is also the free Kamihime. And again, I personally like her too. But what she does in this one, by the looks of things, has a little bit of a photo type buff or whatever, so it's her special mechanic. A lot of these Kamihime have the same type of thing, where it's like they stack their own special little buff, and then it also increases their output. So there you go. Now, in her case, you could take a photo based on the number of charge turns, and it ups her chances of landing debuffs. So I'm guessing she'll get guaranteed debuffs at some point. Like, she can eat up 5 photos in order to get a guaranteed debuff on her second skill. But if you can really maintain the photo increase and all that type of stuff, she'll constantly land that attack down. So there you go. And then on top of that too, she can also blind an enemy by the looks of things, and also up their maximum charge count. So it's like a free black propaganda, which Mordred learns. And then there's a stronger version on Perseus too. So there's that. You won't be able to do this in a stronger rage because they start getting resistant towards that stuff. But being able to increase the maximum orb count on enemies goes a long way for a lot of stuff. So keep that in mind. But generally, she got rid of her stackable mechanic for the debuff, unfortunately. So she's like guaranteed attack down. That's still good because guaranteed is one of the ones that's more reliable. Because some enemies are very, very resistant to debuff, so the guaranteed really helps out for that. And then, like I said, she can also it's got the ball increase. They even say similar to black propaganda right here, so you can sit back and increase how many times it takes for an enemy to build up those turns. And then on top of that too, it says give them darkness, so I think it's blind if it's not dealing damage for that third ability. So there you go. She's not too bad. She's got some slight utility, but she's not too bad. Personally, I like the more stackable mechanic, but there you go. But that's all for this. More of this will come soon. I do have to mention a few more things before I close out this video. First and foremost, and this is very, very important, we will have Roulette again. It is going to be on the 4th, about 4 hours before the day resets. So that's when it will start. Do your daily roulette pulls. It is free 10 pulls per day unless you either get lucky or decide to buy more, because there's something about that I'll mention as well. But what the roulette is, you spin a wheel and you will get either the 10 pull or you'll get a multiplier to the 10 pull. Like you'll get like maybe 20 or you'll get 30 or 50. You can get 100 if you're very lucky. So imagine 100 pulls in a single day. That's why I'm saying do this, because the roulette goes on for multiple days, so you can really start racking up in the free pulls. Even if you consistently get 10s, it's still like free 10 pulls every day. But the other thing I need to mention too is the fact that you can also buy more. I think it's 3,000 star coins, and you can buy it once a day in order to get an extra roulette. I think that's how it works. That's how it seems with what was described and all that. So there you go. So you can basically you can double your guaranteed roulette pools and essentially get much, much more. So who knows? Roulette is very, very big. Do it. For even just a little bit of motivation, I managed to get the Dark Catastrophe Eidolon on both the global and the Japanese roulettes at the same time the last time they had it. That is extraordinarily lucky, and I've got a whole bunch of other stuff to go with it too. So, again, you might get something very good for free. Do roulette. Do roulette. I have to mention that. And then I'll also mention the Miracle Ticket too, because of the fact that it's been a while. They got some very good stuff on the Miracle Ticket. Try to stay towards the more recent characters for that too, because I don't know if we'll get the monthly Miracle Tickets at some point, but we'll see. Because the monthly Miracle Tickets only count up for the first few years of the game's release. So that's something else I need to mention as well. And last but not least too, I'm not exactly sure if I will put out heroic videos for permanent heroic fights. If I decide to, they'll happen. I didn't even put out the last few heroic videos, I do believe, because I've been pretty busy, to be quite honest. There should be another video coming up with this pretty soon, one on a different game, and I've done a review on that. But the whole thing is, it's like my schedule is a little bit more packed and all that type of stuff too, so basically I'm not putting up as much content as I used to, and I kind of apologize for that one, but I still try to upload whenever I can, because there's still some stuff I want to do. In fact, I still have to go through and solo some of the stuff on camera, because I know I can do it, I just need to get it on camera. So, that said, expect more stuff, just probably at an inconsistent pace. I mean, I'm even late with this event video, but probably at an inconsistent pace for all that type of stuff. But anyways, that's all for this. More of this will come soon, and take care.